Guys, welcome to another video, another recap of Data Steel Chess 2025. I want to show you a gameplay between Arjun Erigaisi and Vladimir Fedoseev. You can see them on the right, in the right corner. Vladimir was playing with black pieces, Arjun with white. So let's go. d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3, and here Vladimir plays d5. For those of you who've been watching me know that I actually play Queen's Indian by playing b6, but d5 is a solid option, and on this style I think it's more solid. Knight c3, and here there are different options for black. They can play Rogozin, bishop b4, or they can play very calm bishop d7, which Vladimir played in the game. Takes, and we, instead of bishop g5 and getting some sort of Carlsbad, we're getting bishop e4, typical Queen's Gambit declined position, bishop d6, and now Vladimir offers a bishop trade right away. So he first played bishop e7 and then decided to play bishop d6. If bishop f4 takes castle. And generally these structures with knight on e5, they're all kind of equal. And if you're playing with black, most of the time you will find this very annoying. So let's see what Vladimir did in this position. He plays knight c6, and I sometimes tell you during streams, because I know some of you have been playing knight c6 in some Queen's Gambit structures, which is not right. You first play c6 and then maybe d7, and if you want to play knight c6 first, rule is to play c5 first and knight c6, but in this position it's kind of an exception, but let's see. f3, so it is an exception because basically c5 is not playable. b6, c5 is too slow. c6, I would honestly play c6, which is alright, and then maybe d7, but knight c6 is also putting some pressure on d4 potentially, which is now an isolated pawn. Bishop e6, queen d2, knight e5 takes, and now knight goes to d7. As you see, Vladimir left this pawn unprotected, but the point is, if you capture it right away, there is knight e5, and you will take this knight back and you will enjoy a very pleasant position. In the game, castle was played, putting more pressure on d5 pawn. Now black have to defend it by playing c6, g4, and Arjun threatens to play f5, but Vladimir plays f5 himself. And from now on, there were some decisions that impacted Arjun's position. He first played knight e2, which is a mistake. He sacrifices a pawn. He wants to kind of gambit it, but the point is, he wants to attack on g file. So f take g4, knight d4, attacking the bishop on e6, and here black gotta be extremely careful in order not to lose quickly. So if bishop goes somewhere right now, the point is e6 will come, and f7 is the only square. F5 is a square as well, but there is takes, and f take g4, and look, I'll show you basically knight f5, f5, f take g4. Look at these pawns, guys, and look at these knights. Nothing is moving. White have a very pleasant position, and I have no doubt that Arjun would have won it. But Vladimir is not playing it. He plays queen e7, protecting the bishop on e6. Rook g1, attacking the pawn. G takes f3, bishop d3, king h8, and it seems like Arjun still has compensation, and it's probably right. Computer will show that black have advantage, but from human's perspective, this position is not easy to play with black. Like, you have g file, queen now is coming, like, it's not so easy. c5, knight f3, knight b6, rook g5, and right now, Arjun got an advantage, and as you might see, evil bar have gone up +1 already. Knight c4, attacking the queen, queen d3, threatening checkmate, guys. g6, knight h4, queen f7, rook f1, rook g8, queen g3, bishop f5, and now plays bishop f5. Next two moves are unfortunately going wrong for Indian Grandmaster. After knight f5, the position is completely winning. Because after g takes f5, he might play b3, and now let's say rook g5, f takes g5, and this pawn is falling. So, but instead you might ask, what's the difference here? The difference here, guys, that this pawn cannot be captured with this basically queen a6, and the position is kind of equal, but Arjun plays knight f5. And for those of you who have seen this game, you already know what happened here. So white is the blunder. I had to solve it myself, because, you know, I saw this position a couple of days ago, and I'm scrolling, I'm like seeing this knight f5, and it's like a blunder. I was like, what? Knight f5 is a blunder? And I quickly figured out why it was a problem. The problem is black have this beautiful knight on c4, and there is a pin. And if you kinda look at it, there's potential for knight e3 fork. So queen f5, brilliant sacrifice. And the point is, after rook f5, rook g3, the game is over after knight e3, and it's a fork. There is no way to save both rooks. Rook g5, knight f1, knight e3, e4, b6, and Vladimir slowly converted this game, and after knight h4, Arjun resigned, and he had at that point half out of 4, which is absolutely ridiculous. He is not having a successful tournament. At the time I'm recording this video, he's like 1.5 out of 5 or out of 6 already. But yeah, definitely not his tournament. Something is definitely going wrong. But Arjun was not the only one who was defeated by Vladimir Fedoseev, because right now I want to show you a game he played against another top 3, top 4 player, Fabiano, Caruana. Let's get to it. This time Vladimir Fedoseev was playing with white pieces against Fabi. d4, d5, c4, e6, knight f3, knight f6, knight c3. That's the exactly same position we saw in the last game between Arjun and Vladimir. And here, instead of bishop e7, which Vladimir played against Erigaisi, Fabi goes for Rogozin. Bishop g5, h6, takes, queen a4, knight c6. I actually remember playing this position with black pieces many years ago in European chess championship. I was playing against 2400, 2300 IM from Spain. The game lasted for 6 hours, guys. I had a draw, there were many chances, but I ended up losing. I was very disappointed. I was like, oh man, I hate Spanish players. I was so unhappy about the result. But yeah, this game and this specific line, like queen a4, castle, like exact same position. Rook bishop e2, main move is rook c1, apparently computer likes it more, but doesn't matter at this point, same stuff. Queen a7, bishop c4, knight a5, bishop d3, bishop c3, takes b6. So at this point the position is absolutely equal. And in this game, like, you will be surprised how this game ended, since, I mean, it's unbelievable. Like, you would never imagine to lose, let's say, this endgame with any side on top level. Like, it's just hard to lose this endgame with either side. But things happen. Knight goes to d2, rook c7, rook c2. Like, many people would just agree to a draw, let's say, in a matter of next 10 moves. Like, they would just maybe repeat king f1, king f8, king f2, king f7, and then just something like very, very stupid. But not in this game. Rook c1, king f8, f3, blocking this bishop like a whole diagonal, and trying to go e4 and take a space advantage. e4, g5, king f2, e5, knight f1. As you might see here, I mean, the position is around equal. He takes d4, takes, and exactly here you would ask, how this game not ended in a draw? Why you are showing us this game? Like, it's definitely a draw, right? No? And the winner of this game is not Fabi, even though he is a top 3 player in the world, and mistakes happen even in such endgames. Bishop d3, knight c6, king e3, protecting the pawn. Look, Vladimir got a better pawn structure. At least, you know, like those pawns are very, very powerful. He got more space. a6, knight d2, b5, knight b3, and now this queenside is not movable. d5, and now Fabi weakens up c5 square. Knight c5, king d6, bishop c2, but it is still a draw. Like computer said after a5, like zeros. After knight d5, it's still kind of same evaluation, but still gives some edge to white. King d3, knight b6, king c3, king was going to b4, a5 is played in order to prevent it, a3. And you might actually see here, right? Zeros. And players would have agreed to a draw at this point. King c6, g3, bishop h3, knight b3, attacking pawn on a5. Here, knight c4 is apparently even given black some little edge, point 15. Knight a4, king c2, and bishop g2, almost a mistake that now costs black the game. So Fabio was like, alright, I'm attacking pawn on f3, I'm putting pressure on e4, probably a draw, e5. And it turns out that this pawn is now becoming real danger. F takes e5, he takes e5, and now black are not able to take this pawn due to f4 on d4 square. So b4 is played. Knight d4 now protecting this pawn and also checking the skin. King c5 and now plays e6. The point is king d4 is not playable due to e7 and pawn promotes. This is a brilliant move. King d6. Takes, and now bishop d5, and once again same idea, king d5, e7, and the game is almost over. I mean, it is practically over. Black played bishop f1, bishop b3, attacking knight on a4, knight c5, knight f5, now picks up, pawn on h6, potentially plays e7, trying to promote, bishop d5, bishop d3 first check, and now bishop e5, protecting the square, bishop c4. Bishop c4 is trying to deflect this bishop off e8, so white can promote. Bishop a4, knight g7, and now this pawn is going to promote the next move. g4, f4, king d4. So what happens after, let's say, king e4? There is just simple e8, right? So Fabi is trying to press this bishop on c4. Bishop f7, knight d4, king e1, king c3, takes. Now pushes b3, and it looks like Fabi takes at least one of the pieces back. But for takes, king e2, Fabi simply resigned because he can't deal with it. The problem is, what happens here, let's say king c4, king e3, this knight is under attack. So let's say knight c5, there is knight f6 and another pawn falls, this pawn is going to fall. White are completely winning with 3 pawns up. What happens after king c4, king e3, king d5? Looks like knight is protected, there is no check on f6, but there is check on c7. And unfortunately, let's say king d6, king e4, king c7, it's a completely winning pawn endgame. And Vladimir Fedoseev not only defeated Arjun Erigaisi, but he also defeated Fabiano, Caruana. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you watch Tata Steel Chess, because it's a very exciting tournament. Once again, Wimbledon of chess. Who has no idea what Wimbledon is? I mean, I'm a tennis fan, and Wimbledon is one of the most prestigious tennis tournaments throughout the year, and Tata Steel is being held each year. I'm spectating games each year. It's very, very exciting, even though Magnus, let's say, is not playing, but there are other names to look for. So stay tuned. If you want to analyze more games, please let me know. I'll record even more. I'll see you in the next videos. Bye bye.